Associative Hatch. Let's go ahead and open up this design. You can go ahead and browse to your Chapter 10 project files and open Associative and Annotative. I'll go ahead and cancel this myself because I already have it open. I'll pan over just to the side a bit because right now we're only going to focus on these rectangles and this circle here. Let's go ahead and add a hatch like we normally do. We can select a pattern. We can choose to have a solid or a gradient instead. I'll go ahead and keep pattern selected. I'll keep the color red, and I'll keep this ANSI 31 for my pattern. I'll go ahead and choose any internal point that I choose. And just as another note, if I was zoomed in a lot more and I try to hatch this area here, I wouldn't be able to because I'm unable to see the boundaries. So AutoCAD wouldn't provide me a preview. I'll go ahead and zoom out just so I can get a preview of that. But let's go ahead and hatch this area here. I'll add a hatch, go ahead and close the hatch creation editor, create an additional hatch. I'll keep the same settings, but this time I'm going to make sure this associative is checked, which you should have it checked already by default, but go ahead and make one associative and one unassociative, and we'll see the difference that they do. I'll go ahead and provide a hatch there, close the hatch creation. And now let's take a look at what associative actually is. This one on the right side was the associative hatch that we created. So if I come to the boundary here and I select the boundary and I later decide to make some adjustments, I'll grab this grip and stretch it out a bit. And as you can see, the hatch is associated to the boundary. So it's going to update itself to fill the entire boundary. Again, I'll stretch out this side as well. I'll hit escape to deselect that. Now if I come over here to this rectangle, which was the first hatch that we placed, and it did not have the associative box checked or toggled on, I'll go ahead and select this, and I'll grab the grip again, and I'll pull it to the side. And as you can see, it's not updating itself to fill the area of the boundary. I can always select this hatch over here, and I can untoggle that checkbox there, or icon, and go ahead and close the hatch editor, and let's try and do that again. I'll go ahead and grab this grip here, stretch it out, and as you can see, I can change my associative hatch to a non-associative hatch. I'll go ahead and escape to deselect that. Let's see if we can do it the other way as well. I can select this hatch here, and as you can see, I'm no longer able to turn my non-associative hatch into an associative hatch, but I can always grab the grips of the hatch itself and stretch it to the boundaries that I need it to fit. But when it gets to more complicated geometry, this may not always be possible. So let's go ahead and add just one more hatch to the center. And then I'll go ahead and select this circle, and I'll shrink it in a bit just so you can see. So having an associative hatch is very powerful, and that should be the default whenever you're creating hatches. But there may be instances where you want your hatch to be non-associative. Just remember, if you choose to make it non-associative, you can't make it associative.